Well, we are headed off on morning 4. Just leaving the YHA at Grinton Lodge. It was lovely for a YHA, but we're very ready to be back at the Cornley B&B with Jason, who's going to make us a lovely breakfast tomorrow morning. So today we are going to be walking across a moor, as far as I understand. So we will take you along. I don't know if you can see this, but there is a farmer on a four-wheeler and 2 sheepdogs, and they've just been trying to corral this herd of sheep all over the mountain. Can't stop watching it. So we've come to this little shelter area. And it seemed we found actual evidence of people who have been walking the Herriot Way right here in this book. Pretty much the only evidence we've found so far, to be fair. But yeah, we're here at the Dent houses. We've just crested over the hill. We're gonna drop down towards Castle Bolton, and all of this fog rolled in. Well, we've just been descending down and we can see the very tops of Castle Bolton over there. So we're gonna keep going down and see what else we see. And that is Castle Bolton. 4 miles to the end. Time to do some road walking. The path is now turned into a literal green tunnel. So we've made it back to the pastures. Lots of stiles. It's apparently day 1, part 2. Unsure if this means that or that, but it says unsurfaced and that looks fairly surfaced. So cool, let's go on this unsurfaced road. Well, the green tunnel has persisted. Sometimes closer in, and we're dicking and dodging stinging nettle and the likes. Somewhat reminiscent of some of my Southwest Coast Path adventures. Not quite as bad as the worst of those, but not pleasant. And then sometimes it opens up like this, and it's still pretty closed in, but nothing's actively trying to sting me, so I'll take it. And I think this is kind of what the next couple of miles is going to be like. So I'm gonna put my head down and grind through it, I think. And we finished like we started. Sheep fields and teeny tiny stiles. Well, here we are walking into town after 52 miles in 4 days. We made it back to the center of town, and this is the Cornley B&B where we stayed before we left and where we're gonna go back to now. So let's go. Well, I am freshly soured and we are all settled into our B&B, the Cornley guest house, or the Cornley B&B, I guess. And yeah, I just thought I'd reflect a little bit on the Herriot Way. So as it turns out, it's not at all like as much of a thing as I thought it was. I'm used to the Southwest Coast Path. There's signs everywhere. Everybody knows what it is. The Herriot Way, it seems like the locals know about it, but it's not, there's no like signposts. There's no like, there's very few specific maps. So as we're walking around, like you're basically like putting together a bunch of other paths. So it looks like a square like that. You basically stay at all four corners, and each day is about 12.5 miles on average. Today was a little bit more. It was probably more like 13.5 based on where we stayed. So you stay in Aysgarth, which is where we are right now, and that's in the bottom like right corner if you're looking at the square, and then you walk from there to Hawes, which is the bottom left corner of the square, and that then you stay in Hawes. We stayed at the YHA there, and then you walk north, so to the top left square. We stayed at the Keld Lodge, which was lovely, highly recommend. And then we did the high route, and so we went up and over, and usually people stay in Reeth, which would make it about an 11-mile day, but we decided to push on and stay at the YHA Grinton, Grinton is like a mile from Reeth further, and like further south, and the Grinton Lodge, which is where we stayed, is like almost another half mile outside of it. So we ended up doing about 12 miles each day, and then today is about 13 and a half, somewhere in that neighborhood. Each day, like hopefully you've seen, is very different. It was nice to kind of have that diversity. It's very different than the Southwest Coast Path, where, most days are similar for a stretch. I will say that I don't think this has changed my opinion on backpacking or through hiking where you carry your stuff from place to place. I will do it for short stints. I think 3 to 5 days is the right amount of time. I don't know that I would want to do a 4-day without a rest day though anymore. This was a lot for me. So I feel like 3 is sort of my max before I need a 0 or a rest day or a just non-walking day. And I would say that I would probably only do it in places where it would be really hard, if not impossible, to get to these places if I wasn't walking. So I would have never stayed at the Keld Lodge if I hadn't walked there and walked away from it. And the Grinton Lodge, I could have gotten to Reeth, but I still would have had to walk 1.5 miles, which probably I wouldn't have done. And so really the only place that would be easy for me to get to, or doable, is the Hawes. And I've been there before because it was accessible. So I think at the end of the day, I will through hike or backpack or whatever you want to call it, if there's a reason to. But I think if it was just as easy to stay in one place and take a bus out, kind of how I usually do, I would probably do that instead. So yeah, I think in the future, I'll probably end up doing some short stints of more traditional backpacking in the sense of, carrying my stuff from place to place as opposed to going back to a home base. And then I will also do some of the home base stuff. So you can look forward to seeing that, and I'll take you along and show you what I do next.